I appreciate not everybody out there has started to watch Outlander yet. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be telling you, this Scottish guy is going to be telling you why you need to watch Outlander, because it is a fantastic show that has changed Scotland's fortunes forever, and I think you should watch it. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to today's episode right here on my channel. I am talking Outlander today because it is such a great show that has done so much for the world, I would say. But in particular, Scotland, my home country. That is why I essentially started to watch Outlander. I was a bit curious. There was a show about Scotland, about Scottish characters with Scottish actors, filming in Scottish filming locations. And then I started watching and I realised it would teach me more about my home country than I could ever imagine, and I went on this big massive journey, a big adventure about Outlander, so it has been great and I want to talk about that in today's video to try and persuade those of you who have not started watching Outlander yet that you need to get on board, you need to start watching now, and here are my 10 reasons why. But before I get into that, I just want to say welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for joining in with my videos. It's great to see you here, and if you are new, please do not forget to hit the big red subscribe button down below. Join the adventures. Let's talk about Scotland. Let's talk about our connection. Guys, I want to interrupt this video very quickly from the future. Ooh. Because a lot of people have commented on my channel that they have missed my weekly reviews of Outlander. I used to do them every single week on Sundays, but I've not been able to do that. However, I want to start back up again. So here's a bit of a challenge, right? I will review every single episode of Outlander for the rest of Season 5 if I can get to 250 Patreon members. And I'm very close, just another 50 to go and I'll be at my target. If I can get there, I will review every episode from now on. So how about that? Back to the video. Season 5 has come round so quick and a lot of people are very excited about it. And that's why I'm excited to talk to you guys about Outlander today, right here in this episode. So here are my 10 reasons why you need to start watching Outlander right now if you have not done so yet. And I'm going to be saving some of the better reasons till the very end. Reason number 1, because of the amazing actors, the cast that they have used for Outlander throughout the seasons, from season 1 all the way to recent times, season 5, they have used a magnificent cast, which is of course led by Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe. Both of those actors are absolutely incredible. They have basically brought the show to life, right? And they are on to so many amazing things now. There's even talk, heavy rumour, that Sam, our main man in the show, Jamie Fraser, will be the next James Bond. I think the money is definitely smart money to put on him being the next Bond. Another Scottish James Bond, and that's it, he's Scottish as well. Another plus, but throughout Outlander they have used some amazing actors for their cast. Tobias Menzies, his performance in season 1, 2, and a bit of 3 as well was just absolutely staggering. He played 2 characters in Outlander. For that alone, I would say watch it because of the cast. They're such a good, talented bunch, and a lot of them are going to be going on to great things. Another reason you need to start watching Outlander this year, especially if you're from Scotland, I want more Scottish people to watch. A tremendous reason why you need to watch Outlander is because of the incredible Scottish filming locations that they used for the show. I'm sick of all these shows that came and did films about Scotland or series about Scotland, but didn't actually film in Scotland. Well, Outlander filmed almost everything in Scotland. Not all of it, but almost all of it. The major scenes were all done in Scotland. They've even got their own studio in Scotland. All the fine details of the production were like just incredible. The costume, but how they dressed the scenes as well. Anyway, the filming locations. I'm going to be doing a whole other video all about the top filming locations that you can actually visit in Scotland. Like, just to name a few of them, Craigmillar Castle in Edinburgh, the Closes in the Royal Mile of Edinburgh, Doune Castle, Lallybroch is obviously Midhope Castle, you need to go there as well. A lot of tremendous filming locations that they actually used in Scotland, and as you watch Outlander, you will actually begin to start noticing some of the places they filmed, because you will have no doubt been to some of them. It's just great to see them on the big screen. Another tremendous reason why you need to start watching Outlander is because you will learn some fascinating history that you might not have known about if it wasn't for Outlander, and that is certainly my case. There's so much about Scottish history that I did not know, but I researched on my own after watching Outlander to find out the real facts. Because Outlander is loosely based on real life stories. Culloden, for example, and the Jacobites. Who were they and what were they up to? Why were they fighting? What were they fighting for? These are things I did not know until I watched Outlander. And like I said, I did a lot of my own research following the show so I could actually get the real history. But Outlander does a pretty good job of portraying events roughly as they happened. Some of it's fantasy, of course, but it will give you a bit of interest into what really happened with Scotland in those times, hundreds of years ago. You're going to want to read about the Jacobites after watching Outlander. Another great reason why you might want to watch Outlander, especially if you like action, is all the great big bloody battle scenes in Outlander. There are small skirmishes between smaller groups of men from the beginning, but then there are the big massive bloody battles which are incredible and took me back a little bit to the likes of Braveheart. For example, the Battle of Preston Pans, a real life battle that happened just along the road from Edinburgh, was portrayed in this. And then you have the Battle of Culloden, which was a grim affair. But I don't think I've seen the Battle of Culloden portrayed anywhere as good as it was portrayed in Outlander. So that is a great reason to watch Outlander. If you like battle scenes, get on it. Now this is a reason that I personally appreciate, and I think there's a lot of other people out there who will also appreciate this, right? But one of the great reasons I love Outlander, as a filmmaker myself, as somebody who likes to work with a camera, is the incredible cinematography. Difficult word that to say, it could be said. It's all fair and well saying that we've got such amazing filming locations in Scotland that they use, right? That's great, but you need to make them look good, and you do that through cinematography, and they did such a great job of making Scotland look its absolute finest. The people they must have had working on this show, the talent, the filming talent, the filmmaking talent, it is beautiful cinematography. Because of Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic. There's been a lot of discussion recently about Scotland's native tongue, you could say, which basically only really exists in small pockets on the west coast of Scotland, in isolated communities. Gaelic, right? I hardly know a word of Gaelic apart from Sassenach and Slangeva. Just as well, my whiskey shelf up there is growing pretty nicely. But it's shameful to say most Scottish people do not know more than one or two words in Gaelic. It is tragically a very low population in Scotland speak Gaelic. That might be making a revival. There are apps out there, for example Duolingo, who are bringing it back and people are starting to try and learn. But I thought that was one of the great things in Outlander. They were portraying Highlanders who would have spoke Gaelic back in those days. So in Outlander, you get to see a lot of people speaking Gaelic. Another interesting reason to watch Outlander is because you'll learn about how Scottish people ended up being a major colonizer of the Americas. Of course they went to Canada, but also United States of America as we know it today. We see how the Scottish people, the Highlanders, made that journey from Scotland over the sea, not the sky, to the Americas. A lot of them were taken there by force because they were being imprisoned by the British, right? And this is a history that I didn't fully understand, and honestly, Outlander gives you a little bit of a taster of that. And like I said, a lot of these cases you can go and research after watching Outlander some of the history behind it, and it is truly fascinating. For good or for bad, a lot of Scottish people colonised the Americas, and there's a lot of people, not just in Americas, but especially in Americas, as we see in Outlander, who have Scottish surnames and who identify as being Scottish, and we learn about why that happened in Outlander. Because of this guy.
Why must the Scots be such intractable people?
Mark me, I thought that was a fascinating character, a real life man who is almost a bit like an enigma, really, but was so influential at the time for lots of people who supported him, obviously, and for the history of Scotland at that time. It could have went in a completely different direction had he won. But very interesting to see someone portray Bonnie Prince Charlie, bring that man to life a little bit. Because of time travel! Here's a great thing about Outlander, right? It's telling a real life story of Scottish Highlanders and what they went through, the Jacobite rebellion and all that kind of stuff. But to get to that point, we come from modern times. Claire, the leading lady of the show, and actually the main character of Outlander, she is from our time essentially. The 1960s, 1950s, just after the Second World War as well. Anyway, she went back in time to meet the Jacobites, essentially, and she did that because she went to a set of standing stones, of which we have many in Scotland, and she touched a stone and she fell through a portal, travelled back in time. So there is an interesting aspect of Outlander for you. There's a bit of time travel involved. And it goes back and forward. Another reason you might be interested to watch Outlander, and I certainly found this fascinating, is because you will learn about the British monarchy of that time and a lot of the bad that they did, not just around the world, but definitely, certainly to start with, the Scottish people. And especially the Scottish people who opposed them, the Jacobites, the Highlanders, for example. The Crown at that time might have played all nicey-nicey to the supporters in Scotland, but basically, if you opposed the British Crown rule, you learned the hard way. Anybody involved in rebellion, the Jacobite rebellion, for example, was seen as a traitor, and most of those and a lot of the fighting men of the Jacobite rebellion were simply hung. But then they took away the Highland culture. They banned tartan and they forbid people to speak Gaelic as well. These are all things like, it's good to learn, it's interesting to know this history. History is often taught by the victors, but when shows like Outlander come along, they give you a bit of a piquing interest to go back and check the real history and these type of things. Usually these lists are 10 things long, but I've actually got more for you, and probably there are about 150 reasons to watch Outlander that I could have listed 11, because you will get to see the fascinating relationship, evolving relationship, throughout season 1 and 2 and more than that maybe, of Jamie, our main man, and Blackjack Randall. Blackjack Randall is a fascinating character played by Tobias Menzies, who went on to be in The Crown now and many other things. Anyway, the relationship between Jamie and him, and as that evolves and how it ends up, you always think it will come to something, a very final moment, and it does at one point. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but very, very important for our main character's history throughout the whole season. And I would suggest that it's one of the main reasons to watch Outlander, because it is a fascinating development of how a relationship builds between those two. For me, it's just the depth of the story. I think it's a great, great show. Obviously written by a series of books by Diana Gabaldon, the American author, but they've just turned it into such a great, amazing television show. On STARZ in America, I think they funded it through Sony, but it's now available on Amazon, on Netflix in a lot of parts of the world as well. Great, great show, and as I say, very important culturally for Scotland. It has started a massive movement in Scotland. It started this huge, incredible revolution of tourism in Scotland, which is supporting many people's livelihoods. And for that reason, I give it massive respect alone. So I'd highly encourage you, if you're from Scotland and you might be interested in watching this show, you've thought about it because you've heard about it. Nearly everybody in Scotland has heard about it, but not that many people have watched it. I would highly recommend giving it a shot. But that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to speak to you guys, as always. And until the next adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world. Take care.